Welcome to Click for IB Biology. We are studying topic D4.3, global warming. And in this particular video, we'll be looking at the effect of global warming on the biomes of the world, a phenomena which is actually called biome shifting. There's a blank version of this presentation. That's a PDF. That's linked in down in the description. You can download that, annotate with your own notes as we go along. But then you can also take the 10-question quiz and check the answers and evaluate your own understanding of this particular part of the syllabus. So biome shifting. The junction between one biome and another sees a transition from one community of organisms to another, and this is called an ecotone. In my diagram here, what I'm showing is the northern hemispheric distribution of biomes, beginning just below the poles at the northern tundra and extending down to the southern temperate forests. And primarily, as I'm speaking, I'm really considering the North American continent, as this will allow us to include some of the examples as specified by the syllabus. And so we have the typical tundra, the Taiga tundra ecotone, the transition from tundra to coniferous woodland. We have the Taiga zone here, sometimes of course known as the Boreal forests. Then we have the transition from the Boreal forest, the Taiga, into the temperate forests in this ecotone here. And then we have the more southerly temperate forests as here. So we're looking at what is the global warming impact on these particular forests and or these particular regions and biomes. And by changing the abiotic factor of temperature, we are going to change the nature of the habitat which is available in each of these particular geographic locations. I would keep in mind, as we are discussing this topic B4.2 relating to the niche, and in particular what is called the competitive exclusion principles, that essentially says that no two species can occupy the same niche in space or in time. And so if we change the nature of the habitat, we change the niche, and the organism that may be better suited to that new niche and those new conditions may not be the one that historically has been there. And that's what we're going to be seeing. So to take a look at a couple of those examples, we have the warming, as global warming increases, we see in this particular area here, which is the Taiga tundra ecotone, a warming so that the permafrost begin to melt, and the effect of that melting of the permafrost is to create warmer conditions which allow these typical taiga species, the conifers, to begin to grow more further north than ordinarily they have in the past. The habitat has changed. The conditions now suit the germination and growth of the Boreal Taiga forest, and the Boreal Taiga forest extends its distribution to the north in this way, and this phenomena is called the poleward movement. And what's happening is that the conifers are displacing the tundra lichens and mosses. They will grow over the top of them and exclude them and take over. And so we see the boreal forests creeping towards a more northerly area. Equally, we can see in the actual boreal forests themselves, we see a melting of the permafrost. So rather than the ground remaining frozen for very long periods of the year, it melts more readily. The water here, the soils here become waterlogged and unsuitable for the coniferous growths. the trees begin to die, and the consequence of this is that the dead woods actually accelerate phenomena such as forest fires. And the consequence of this is that the boreal forests have often been associated as being a carbon sink, but now actually become a carbon source as these boreal forests actually begin to be areas of drought and therefore become susceptible to forest fires, particularly with the dead wood in those areas. As we extend our study towards the south, we end up in the Taiga temperate forest ecotone, and here we have an interesting effect of the increased temperatures have allowed temperate forest species to extend their growth much further to the north, and the particular species that we have in mind here is the American beech, the American beech tree, which is able to extend now up into the Taiga temperate forest ecotone as the conditions there become more suitable for its growth. And interestingly, the warmer temperatures to the south actually exclude the American beech, and so we actually have a contraction of its distribution at its most southerly ends. And so what we've been seeing as the conditions within the biomes change is what's called biome shift. The exclusion principle means that other species are better suited to live there, and often we see the poleward movement of species. They're moving north in their distribution, and that their ecosystem boundaries have been extended. In the case of the boreal forest itself, with its drying out and the drought periods within it, what we also encounter are other examples of positive feedback and critical tipping points in which, rather than being a sink of carbon dioxide, they then become a source of carbon dioxide, which of course in turn accelerates our model of global warming. This isn't just restricted to plant species. The change in the warmer conditions also encourages a change in the distribution of animal species, and at the higher level of the course, one should be considering the spruce bark beetle. With the warmer temperatures, what has happened with the bark beetle is it's now capable of producing multiple generations within the same year since it's warmer. The population of those beetles greatly increases, and the damage associated with those trees has also occurred. The consequence of this damaged tree is that these can then be replaced by more southerly species, but again, interestingly, with the dead trees, this also in turn reduces the carbon fixation, but also accelerates the idea of forest fires, since there's now a lot of fuel available to fuel forest fires in these boreal regions. So this may be compounding and positive feedbacking again. That's a higher level concept. Just to complete our study of these ecotone shifts or biome shifts, I've just changed to the world distribution map for biomes to illustrate the idea that species are extending poleward as their biome becomes modified by global warming. And down here we've got the example of the American beech tree extending upward into the boreal forest regions. Such is the effect on the American beech, that should be an E here, the American beech tree and its poleward redistribution, is that the current location is shown here in red, and it is projected with the temperature changes which we are currently experiencing that this type of beech forest here will have been excluded from what is the current temperate region forests of the United States, and will have actually extended far to the north towards the second half of this century. The link to the next concept to be studied is showing on the left-hand side, which is the effect of global warming on altitude distribution of species. Chance to subscribe to the channel in the center there, much appreciated, and the playlist on the right-hand side for your convenience. Don't forget to download the questions.